A lot of the times you see a documentary like this and you hear about the technical side, you hear about the lighting side and awful it is. We never actually hear straightforward advice which you've kindly given.
Hello, my name is Julian Glover. I'm an actor. I've been an actor for 54 years and I am 75 years old now. I'm still working, thank God.
Wonderful. What qualities you look for in a film director from an actor's point of view?
Well, to look for the qualities is a difficult thing, but the first thing the good director is someone who approves of actors. I've worked with directors who consider actors a sort of necessary inconvenience, which is not a pleasant atmosphere to be in. But there are not many like that. It's necessary to like actors, but not to revere them. Steven Spielberg is an exact example of that. He loves actors. He loves what actors can do. He loves how they can improvise and do new things, and at the same time he preserves a rigid control over what's happening.
How important is the script?
Oh, it's it. The script is it. I remember the great actor Paul Scofield said to me, if you accept a script, it means you like it, and so don't fool around with it when you work on it. However, that having been said, sometimes there's the odd word here or there which doesn't quite balance up, and you go to your director and say, I'm not happy about that, do you think I could change it to such and such? And any decent, sensitive director will say, yes, of course I understand that. But basically speaking, you accept a script because you think it's good. A director who hasn't done his homework or her homework is a very boring thing, because she's delving and all that at the same, or he is at the same time as you are. You need them to know what they want from the film, and so that they can come and talk to you about it, not give you inflections, but to talk to you about what they want, which you probably know, but if you've read the script properly and if you've worked on the script properly yourself, you'll probably know it, but you need it to be reinforced, and maybe you've got it slightly wrong, the angle wrong, and they say, no, that's not quite what I want from this. And then someone who is prepared to experiment on film, not to go to 150 takes, that's nonsense. I have to speak subjectively, of course. You know,
yes, of course.
And so that when they come to you with the notes on the scene, which you've just rehearsed, you hope you don't shoot it cold. Some people do that. Some directors do that. Okay, we've gone through it. We've got in the mood. Let's shoot it. Well, that's no good as far as I'm concerned.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which doesn't mean to say I want to delve deep and all that stuff. I just want to know what I'm doing. Another thing is sympathy for everybody who is on the set. It's a tricky job being a director. I mean, really, because he's there all the time.
Yeah.
The actor's only there for that pressure point. Yet he's there all the time. He's got to deal with everybody, and he's got to be, as I described, to everybody. Well, he's got to be patient. If he loses his temper, it's most uncomfortable and does not produce good results.
Spielberg's styles would have been George Lucas, and For Your Eyes Only would have been John Glenn. So you can pick any of those directors, and just from the director's point of view, from the actor's point of view, looking at the director.
Well, I can quickly do that. Spielberg is the finest director, most sensitive and most interesting. Spielberg can do anything on the set almost as well as the experts can, except act. He can't act, but he loves actors. John Glenn is a very good, practical, down-to-earth, oh, Julian, you know how to do it, just give me the stuff, and you give him the stuff, and unless it's absolute rubbish, he accepts it. Lucas is a bit more particular, but more on the technical side than on the interpretive side. That's the run-up on those three directors. The one I, of course, enjoyed working with most was Spielberg, but I enjoyed working with others too. The Star Wars experience was actually, it's turned into something else now. Well, we didn't know then that we knew it was a second Star Wars film. We didn't know it was going to be such a blockbuster and there were going to be so many more. And we knew they were planned, but we mere actors were pretty cynical about whether it would go on to the number it has. And I was only on it for a week. £200 I got for it. And I had a lovely scene with Darth Vader and all that, and a big shoot up on with a blue background, and I didn't know the thing I was actually driving until I saw the film. This is literally true. And on For Your Eyes Only, it was a ball from beginning to end, mostly because of Roger Moore and John, who was very affable man. And you know you're in a blockbuster. Keep coming back to it. It's affability. There are great dramas happen, and sometimes it's very uncomfortable. At 5 in the morning on a night shoot, people get very angry, and particularly the extras. I did a big scene in For Your Eyes Only, which was a dinner scene, an exterior dinner scene. And all these extras came out who were local society, who, you know, frightfully smart people. And they were having a wonderful time, drinking away and having a fantastic time. Or by 2, they were grey. By 5, they were black. And started wandering away, and we couldn't do that. They had to come back. And Roger Moore is a fantastic leveller. He's wonderful at getting people back together again. You know the great line that Sean made up in Indiana Jones?
No.
The scene when I reveal myself as the villain, he's tied up with his with Sean Connery and Harrison Ford are tied up together, and they're muttering to each other. And the question of the subject of the girl in the film comes up, and Sean said, of course she's German, and Harrison said, doesn't know that Sean has any acquaintance with her. How do you know that? She talks in her sleep. And that was an absolutely impromptu line.
Really?
Impromptu line. And we all fell on the floor, and Spielberg said, that's it. We kept that in. A young director, if he's intelligent and committed, and really has the idea of doing movies in the centre of his head, and he's seen a lot of movies, and he's not thinking he's going to be better than everybody else. He simply wants to make this movie. I would advise that the best thing to do is to be nice. That sounds awfully silly and very arch, but that's the best thing to do. Never think you're in a position whereby you can bollock someone off. You can reprimand in much more delicate ways than that, and sometimes people need reprimanding. But if you're a proper director, you will leave the real reprimanding to your first assistant to talk to that person, or if it's the lighting cameraman you want to talk to, you take them away to a corner and say, we're not getting that, and such and such. Really bad behaviour, you delegate that irritation to other people. You've got to be the governor. It's as simple as that. We call him the governor, and it's not for nothing we call him the governor, because he is. He's the final arbiter. And when a producer comes onto the set and starts bossing a director around, it really embarrasses me. I think what you're doing is lowering that poor man in the eyes of everybody else, the meanest chippy, you know, the runner, the gopher. You're demeaning the man, and I can't stand that. So it's better to be nice and be cool and know your subject. You've got to know your subject. It's no good saying, well, I'm not quite sure what this means. You've got to know your subject. Yeah, I can relate to them, and I hope this is not a po-faced answer, because it is absolutely essential that the actor coming into the business not wants to act, but needs to act. Also someone who doesn't think it's a doddle. I know actors are always being quoted as saying this, but it really is hard work being an actor, if you do it properly. I mean, if you're quick at learning lines, that's fantastic, wonderful. You can go on and just do it, but unless you've worked hard at it, like Derek Jacobi, like Al Pacino, you know, like Albert Finney, like any of the great people. Julian Glover, Chasing the Bear.